Hi guys, we're live here in Nature's Neighborhood for our first of many to come Zoo Open online Facebook Live feeds. We're going to be doing an inside look at the zoo each day at 10:30 a.m., so mark your schedules, tune in. Today we're going to be talking to Josh in education, and he has our bearded dragon here with him, so we're going to learn more about that. We are here in Nature's Neighborhood, the hub of children's here at the zoo, so we thought this was a really good place to start. But before we get into that, we just want to let you guys know that while we are closed to visitors on grounds, your zoo is open online. Check out all of our social feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and our website for more information. And if you'd like to support us during this trying time, please go to toledozoo.org/donate. We appreciate all of your support and look forward to seeing all of you on ground soon. But in the meantime, we get to do this together. So Josh, talk to us about this bearded dragon.
Yeah, well, happy St. Patrick's Day. You would think on St. Patrick's Day, maybe a leprechaun would be the most appropriate thing to show. I'm going to argue that this is the next best thing to a leprechaun for a number of reasons. So leprechauns have beards. This bearded dragon also has a beard. Now, when you're looking at it, you might see, I don't see a beard on it. Well, it doesn't have a beard until it gets agitated. This underside gets dark and puffs up, and that's a sign that this bearded dragon is defensive. So hopefully we don't see that beard of our bearded dragon like we might see a beard of a leprechaun. Do you know they have other things in common with leprechauns as well? So leprechauns from Ireland, an island. The bearded dragon is also from an island, but the island of Australia. Okay. And they live throughout the island of Australia in hot, arid places. Now, gold is what it's all about for a leprechaun. And you notice our bearded dragon has this nice gold color. Has nothing to do with money, has a lot to do with the camouflage. So if you're in the sand, if you're in the dry, arid spaces of Australia, this color and this pattern is really to help you to blend in. Absolutely. Now, we've talked about the bearded side of it. Let's talk about the dragon side of it. So dragons are known for guarding gold. But this lizard is called a dragon because of this fiery orange color around its eyes. It also has some of that color in its mouth. So people thought when it opened its mouth that it would be breathing fire. So that's pretty amazing.
That is very cool. So this bearded dragon is part of our education department, right? We take him out for animal meet and greets like this on grounds. Talk to us about when people would get a chance to meet him, they can pet him, how that works.
Yeah, so this bearded dragon's name is Norbert, and he is one of our ambassador animals. So Norbert frequently comes out in Nature's Neighborhood. In the summer, he's part of our summer show. He can be out for animal meet and greets, all sorts of events. He's an animal that's used to being around people. And sometimes it's a touch situation where you can come and meet some of our ambassador animals and actually touch them and see them up close.
So may I touch him?
Yeah, you're welcome to, right on the back.
All right. Ooh,
so you're gonna feel kind of rough. Do you know, rough, and along the side you can see he has those spikes. Do you know, they're not really sharp, but another thing a lizard can do is puff up, and those spines become much stiffer to discourage any predators.
Now, what would prey on a bearded dragon?
In Australia, as you can imagine, there's a lot of larger lizards. There's snakes, there's birds of prey. He himself is a predator too. You can see how his mouth is. A bearded dragon is going to eat pretty much anything that they can fit in their mouth. They're not too choosy. They're what we call an omnivore. So they eat some plants, some animals. So they'll eat insects, they'll eat vegetation, they'll even eat smaller lizards sometimes.
Very cool. And I'm checking out his little claws here. Talk to us about these.
Yeah, so a bearded dragon is what we would call semi-arboreal. And that's a really fancy word, meaning that sometimes they might be up in trees. And it's really these toes and these claws that help them to do that. When we look at our hands, our fingers kind of all end at the same spot. So when we're climbing, if there's not a good spot for us to grab on at that one point, we're kind of stuck. His toes are all different lengths. That gives him a chance to grab on to more variety of spots as he's climbing, and that really helps him out.
All right, we're going to take some questions from you guys because we see that they're coming in here. Austin, age 6, wants to know, why are they called bearded dragons? I know we talked about this a little bit,
let's go over
but let's
it again.
recap.
So it has a beard. It has some spikes, and then it darkens if it gets agitated. So it really looks like it has a beard. The dragon part is because it looks like it has a fire-breathing color when it opens its mouth.
That's very cool. And Dawn wants to know, is that Bernard?
This is not Bernard. This is Norbert. So we currently have 2 different bearded dragons in the Ambassador Animal Collection. We have Norbert. He's named after the dragon that Hagrid had in Harry Potter. And then we have Smaug, the dragon from The Hobbit.
Very nice. Amina wants to know if they move.
Do you know, they do move, but bearded dragons are a type of reptile, and reptiles spend a lot of their time trying to conserve energy. So sitting still, checking things out, is a really good strategy, so they're not wasting a lot of energy moving around.
And let's see. Evelyn, age 8, says, what are the holes in their head?
Oh, that's a great question. So when we think of our ears, we have ear flaps, and a lot of mammals have ear flaps where you can see the ear on the outside. That's actually an ear, but lizards don't have ear flaps. If you're climbing around, going through holes, things like that, your ears can get hung up. So not having ear flaps is very useful for a lizard.
Very cool. And about how old do you think our bearded dragon is?
Well, we're not sure of his exact age. Bearded dragons can live into their teens, and we know this is an adult, but some animals, we know their age because they were born here, but some animals we don't know their exact age, and we don't know his exact age.
Our next question comes from Kaylee, age 8, wants to know if they can eat other lizards.
They do eat other lizards. They'll eat lizards that are smaller than them. So you can see how big their mouth is, and they'll pretty much eat whatever they can fit. Here at the zoo, we make them a really nice salad, top it with some crickets, and it's delicious.
And you're holding this on your forearm, and his tail's coming just about to your elbow back there. So would you say he's a little over 18 inches, maybe close to 2 feet?
Yeah, if you count to the very tip of the tail, he's probably pushing 2 feet.
Very nice. And Nathan, age 8, wants to know if they only live in deserts.
Do you know what? They can live throughout Australia. There's actually multiple species of bearded dragon. So deserts, arid areas, semi-arid. So they've got a little bit of variety, but usually if it's hot and dry, a bearded dragon is going to live there.
Very nice. And Olivia wants to know, how big do they get, Josh?
How big do they get? Do you know what? This is a full-grown bearded dragon. So he is an adult, we know that. So you're getting a good look at how big they can get.
And Sherry Ann says, question from Shelby, age 10, do their claws hurt?
Ooh, that's a great question. Do you know what? Their claws look sharp, and they could be sharp some of the time, but their claws are for climbing and not for grabbing or tearing. So they're actually more blunt than they look. So they don't really hurt.
He's hanging on pretty well here, but I've got my finger underneath here, and nope, they don't hurt at all. He's just using them to hang on.
Yep.
Kayla, age 6, says, will his chin puff out?
Oh, will his chin puff out? Well, do you know what? I've worked with Norbert for a long time. He's used to being held. He's used to being on with people. This is his first Facebook Live, so he might be a little nervous, but overall he's calm. He's used to doing this. This is his job, so it's unlikely that we'll see his beard puff out.
And Caleb says, why don't they have eyelids or blink?
Do you know what? They do have eyelids. When he sleeps, he'll close his eyes, but otherwise, his eyes stay open. Bearded dragons are known for being really inquisitive. If you'll see, he'll kind of turn his head and look in different directions. So keeping those eyes open really helps him know what's going on around him.
Melinda asks, is this the only color they can be?
No, there's actually a lot of varieties of colors. We call those color morphs that bearded dragons can be. So this is kind of the traditional color. They can be a little bit more gray, a little bit more orange. So there's some variation.
And let's see, Christina says, how do they defend themselves?
How do they defend themselves? Well, excuse me, they climb. They can try to scare away predators with these spines, with the beard, and with their mouth open, looking like they breathe fire. That's a lot of scary things going on that if you're not certain you want to eat a bearded dragon, you might back off.
And Avery and Riley want to know, can bearded dragons swim?
Ooh, do you know what? That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine that they have some ability to swim, but where they live, they're not going to encounter a lot of water.
Leslie says, do they change color?
They can change color. They can darken and lighten, and that's part of what goes on with their beard. So it primarily is seen in their beard, but their whole back can actually darken when they're in stress.
Very nice. And Malcolm, age 7, says, how big are the babies?
Oh, well, do you know, they hatch from a little tiny egg, and they look just like a little version of this adult bearded dragon. So they're small, but they look just like it.
Oh, that's very cool. Melanie asks, how fast are they?
They're pretty fast, especially when climbing, and they need to be fast to help. If all of their show doesn't work with their beard, then they're going to run for it or climb for it. So they need to be pretty fast to get away from predators. They're also chasing down other lizards and insects to eat, so they need to be fast enough to catch those.
And Daniel, age 5, says, Josh, what holes do they breathe through?
Oh, well, do you know what? They have a nose just like we do. So if you look right at the front of his snout, you can see 2 holes. We call those nares, and that's what they breathe through. So the larger holes, again, are their ears for hearing.
And Avery and Harper would like to know how long they sleep.
How long they sleep? Well, do you know what? Like other reptiles, they sleep and they also sit still a lot. He goes long times without moving a whole lot, so he's resting a lot. In terms of actually sleeping, he is diurnal. He's active during the day, and then he'll sleep most of the night.
And Leslie says, what's his personality like?
What's his personality? I'd say he's pretty chill. He's just hanging out here, taking it all in.
Yes. So I think we've made it through most of the questions you guys have had. Thank you so much for tuning in. As we said, we are going to be doing a live feed each day at 10:30. So mark your calendars. Set your alarms to tune in and see us. We'll be meeting more animals. We'll be moving all around the zoo, checking out all the things that are happening, even though you guys can't be here to join us. We are making the zoo open online for you. Again, if you'd like to support us during this closure, please go to toledozoo.org/donate. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Say goodbye, Norbert.
Bye.